Okay, here we are at the beginning of a tour site at the bunker here, Valentien bunker, where in 1943 the people captured at POWs captured at the concentration camp had to come here and actually build this bunker for the Nazis, where they built German submarines, the Nazi submarines, to try to cut the war. They wanted to build submarines in here to try to channel the war out of the Atlantic Ocean to slow down Allies trying to come in. So here they had a secret bunkers that we're looking at. You're looking at where workers had to come from the concentration camp, and they had to put this bunker together all by hand for no money. Only work, no money. The food was really bad. The living conditions were bad at the concentration camp, so they had to come here and build this bunker for the Nazis, for their submarines to fight Allies off in the Atlantic Ocean. And they built this bunker, as we can see how high it is from the bottom to the top. They built it with their hands for no money. So you can imagine coming here every day and have to work. And you're working for free to build this huge building made of concrete and stone, So this is also a place where many people, they passed away working here because the conditions were really bad. Okay, here we are starting the tour. We stopping and taking a look at some of the memorials, and as you can see here, these are some of the workers from the concentration camps where they were, dressed in their stripes. But here are the guys working to put this, as of now, a monumental place together, the Valentien bunker. But here are the guys having to lift here. As you can see, no machines. They happen to lift this with their hands up. And this is all cement. This is all concrete. There's no plastic. These guys have to lift this with their hands. And these are the people, POWs, captured in the concentration camps, where their living conditions, as we know, were horrible. But they have to come here every day just to be released, from the camp. Okay, here we go, guys. We're taking this journey, this walk up a side. As you can see, if you can see me, of course, you can kind of see how high this thing goes up. I take it that it goes up to about, I don't know what to say in feet, but it stands very, very, very tall, as almost like a tower. And we're headed in, and you can see the ruins from over the time past. History has shown the time how it's ruining now, and bricks are starting to break apart. But here we are, heading in. Here we are, walking along the building. We just happened to stumble along and see some drawings on the wall, some art to where you can see it pretty much kind of shows the workers, where they had them in an assembly line where they were kind of walking into work, and they was pretty much showing where the guys were coming in right here. And you can see them walking in, and it leads to the guys to them walking up the rails, and this is kind of where they did most of the work, maybe loading out trucks or something, maybe pulled up here and loaded out. But as we can see right here, like I say, on the wall, they got some drawings and art of the workers actually coming in from the concentration camps and how they had to stand in line. It looked like they were paired up 2 by 2. So all coming in. And also up here, if you look up top here, a part of the building, this is somewhat of the west wing. This is where the British bombed this side, and this was part of the bombing, and this is what really put the halt and put the pause to them completing this whole ruin, and the whole bunker site, and to continue to build submarines. The bombing here on the west side was what really put it to a stop. Here we are, more on the west wing of the bunker, and this is where the British and the Americans actually had air raids, and they actually dropped bombs down to try to, deplete this bunker, Valentien. And we're here on the west wing, and as you can see up top, obviously there was a heavy bomb that dropped there because there's a huge hole, and a lot of the ruin is really hanging down. And this place goes far, far beyond what we can imagine, because the place that you're looking at right now, we can't go into this area, it's restricted. But this was the wing, the west wing, where the British and the American had an air raid, and as you can see up top, they dropped a lot of bombs, and this concrete was really so solid that it knocked huge holes into the ruins, but it didn't bring it down, as we can see. So it was really solid. This was all concrete and cement, and the bombs were strong enough to create holes into the bunker, but they wasn't strong enough to bring it down. The foundation still stands strong, but like I say, the huge beams and the wiring and parts of the bunker is hanging it down. Those stones, even after this fell down, you still had so much space. As we looking at taking a closer look at the hole where the air raids took place, there was still very, very much stone and very, very much space left in between. Even after the bombing took place, there were a lot of space between. I'm taking, if you had to say in feet, I'm thinking there were still 20, 25 feet left in between the stones, even after the bomb and dropped down and blew half of it away. It's still 25 feet in between this stones. The ceiling, actually, the roof. You still had that many feet away that was still protecting everyone from the bombings and the raid. As you can see right here, this is actually a layout of the bunker and where they were actually building the submarines, and they were building them to actually set sail out on the North Sea. They was every 56 hours. They was expecting the submarine to go out to be produced. During the World War II. This model consists of 9 prefabricated sections built at shipyards in Bremen and Hamburg. The Valentin bunker was designed as the assembly shipyard, where the parts were to be put together, fitted as the production line. But as you can see, what we just looked at, that layout really showed you that every 56 hours a submarine was being shipped out. And it determined on the length, the size, the weight of the bunker. And this bunker that we're in right now is actually the second largest bunker in Germany, during this time. The first largest bunker, I don't know where it's at just yet, but I will find that out. But right now, this is the second largest bunker here that they were building those submarines. The Nazis were building the submarines. So you take it, they had over 10,000 workers here. Over 10,000 guys from the concentration camps were here working by hand under horrible conditions. I can tell you this, that we're inside this bunker right now, and it is really cold. So you can imagine, these guys some of them had no shoes, they had very thin clothing. Their living conditions were already really bad at the concentration camps, and to have to come here every day and work inside of this underground bunker, guys, this was really, really, really strenuous and really hard on the people that were having to do this. And like I said, it was over 10,000 guys here working and let's just say they were up under conditions where they had security. The soldiers were beating them and they still had to work, and they probably only knew 1,000 or 1,100 of those guys' names out of 10,000. You can imagine that. Only 1,000 or 1,100 people, they know your name. So it was really bad, guys, really bad. Okay, here guys, we have a picture, a photo of the guys from the concentration camps in the nearby area where they were actually digging and preparing to lay tracks, rail tracks for the bunker, so they can maybe put whatever parts are on the track, the train and the Bahnhof, and run it through the bunker to pick up whatever they had to go to ship out. But here are guys actually working at the bunker, outside the bunker. As you can see here, here's what looks like one of the guards overseeing them lay the dig and build the foundation to lay the tracks. Okay guys, yeah, as you can see here, the capo. What the capo was one of the POWs, one of the prisoners that were used as a foreman. He actually worked for the Nazis. He was one that was like privileged. He got a chance, maybe get a little bit more food. They gave him more of a break, but he was overseeing the workers, which was kind of hard because they all were in the same concentration camp. But here's a guy that had to work for the Nazis, and he was over them to make sure that all the workstations were being completed right. That's what a capo is. Another guy that's at the concentration camp happened to oversee the other guys. So every day they had to go home back to the concentration camp. Here's a guy that's overseeing them that's actually in the same conditions, but he's getting special privilege. So you can imagine how he was really getting treated, once he got back to the concentration camp, because he was a foreman for the actual Nazi guys that were building this bunker. Here we are now in the back of the sluice chamber. This is where they came with the ships and they actually sent the submarines out to the North Sea. This is actually the back part of the sluice where, like I said, they shipped them out to the North Sea. But as you can see, if you look up higher, this is also the back part of the west wing to where the bombing took place, the air raid, because there's another hold up top there where a bomb hit and blew a hole in the roof. Here we are at one of the memorial sites right here, where a guy by the name of Raymond Portefeuille, I guess that's how you say his name, but his name is Raymond. He was a living witness. He was a French prisoner that actually lived at he was in the concentration camps, and he was from 1926 to 1995, the year that I actually graduated, 1995. He passed away, but he was a living witness to this. He says that they had to carry these cement bags or concrete bags, by 10 guys had to carry concrete bags, even getting beat by the commanders. They would cry out, they still had to carry these bags, and they could never fill them all. But here on this back side, here's what they had to carry it to. They had to carry these bags and deliver the concrete, where they had machines that were eating up 300 bags of concrete an hour. So you can imagine that, 300 bags of concrete in an hour, and these guys had to carry these bags down to this thing to finish building this bunker. And they were getting beat by the commanders and getting beat by the other guys, the foremans. So You can imagine that, carrying the concrete. Hey, here we are, actually. How I just spoke to you guys about how the guys were happening to carry those bags, and here's one of the photos of the machines that they had to deliver the bags to, the concrete machines. This concrete machine was eating 300 bags an hour. That's 300 bags an hour this machine was sucking down concrete, and these guys had to deliver it to these machines by hand. Okay guys, where we just showed you all that photo of those concrete machines, this is the actual staircase to the concrete machine. You know, it's, of course, the stairwell has been redone. This is not the same stairwell because it was wood back then, but this is the actual, we're actually taking steps. This is where they went up and they delivered the concrete bags up these stairs right here. This is where it took place. This is where the work was taking place. Right here where we stand right now, as you can see, it's pretty worn down, but the foundation of these bricks and these stone, this concrete is still here, and they delivered it right here where we're standing right now. Okay, we're here at, here's another photo of a prisoner by the name of Harry Collin. You know, he was a former prisoner at the corrective labor camp. Harry pretty much said, you know, you never spoke about home at these camps or at this workplace. If you ever spoke about home, then you were finished. Pretty much he said, if you spoke about home here at the Valentine bunker or even at the concentration camp, you were done. They will kill you. They will get rid of you if you spoke anything on home. So you were not to speak about home when you was here working. You were to just work. You were to never speak about home. As we can see here, I'm standing out here now, aroused of where they shipped off the ships here in to the North Sea, and this is one of the channels. It's kind of has dried up a little bit now. It's not as much water leading right here at the beginning, but you can see from here, right here is the sluice on where they released the ship, the submarines out. This is the entrance on where they were releasing them out right here. We're at the back part. We're actually at the front part of the sluice. We was at the back earlier with the front part of the sluice. This is where they released the ships out. And they released the ships out right here, guys, right into, they released the ships out right into this channel right here, you know, leading to the North Sea. 60 kilometers. Okay, we're here walking now along what we just discovered, that this is the main entrance of the bunker, and this was one of the parts that were actually bombed. Like, this was the raid. This was where they dropped the air raid on. The British and the Americans dropped the air raid right here at the top, which we can't get all the way to the top, but you know, we were able to be at the top. We could see where more of the bombs dropped, but we can't get up there because there are huge holes up there from the bombs in the raiding. But as you can see in the walls, where the foundation actually broke down from the bombs and the air raids. And here, if you can take a better look a little bit further up here, guys, you can see the separation. You can see the holes in the walls that lets you know that they're very, very hollow in there, where the air raids dropped the bombs and kind of really broke the top part of the bunker down. Here we are here, guys. This is actually the shipyard's delivery gate. This is where the shipyard, they got delivered material, concrete, beams that they had to put within the concrete. A lot of the materials, this is where they got it delivered at, right here. Trains would roll up, or whatever little cranes that they had, and they were, or the guys have to stand here, and they went into the inside here. This was the actual delivery gate of the bunker from the main entrance, where we're standing at right here. All right, as we see right here, the guys were very proud of the actual engineering of this structure. You know, you see it says here, is from the engineer perspective, I feel exactly the same as I did back then. It was an outstanding feat of engineering. So in other words, you know, he was very, very proud of this bunker and the way that they structured it and put it together. He knew, he just in his head that there was gonna be no air raid, there was gonna be no bombing that could that was gonna bring it down. That, you know, it may have taken some hits, but it wasn't gonna bring it down. So he was very proud of this actual work. To him, this was his art, this was his baby. He was proud of the structure and the engineering of this bunker. Okay, guys, as we can see, like I said, looking back at the building, I was just telling you guys that the engineer, Eric Lacker, was very proud of this bunker that was built. He was the head of the engineering. He was head of building this bunker, so he was very proud of the layout and everything that he gave them to build this bunker. But he says that he had nothing to do with the war. He had nothing to do with the way that the workers were treated. He stands behind that all workers were treated the same at every site, but he was just really proud of the bunker. He wasn't proud of maybe what took place, and he was mandated on that he was not behind any of that. He just was proud of his work of the layout of this bunker, because he felt like he put together a very good foundation and layout for them to build a strong bunker for their submarines. Here we go, guys, are at the end of our tour almost here, and we come to a memorial site where they have pretty much put a memorial to say that they must, you know, even though they were plagued by this horrible time, this horrible situation where they had to be here, and plenty of people died, and you know, deaths took place, that they have to keep this heritage, they have to keep this camp, they have to keep these memories alive to show proof that they were, you know, able to make it through this, and they were strong enough, some of them, to outlive this horrible time. So they come back and they put these memorial sites here to say that they must hold proof that and that they are the truth of behind this, and that they will stand strong from generation to generations. That, you know, you can keep this in memories, but they will stand strong, and they have proof that they were the truth behind this.